Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I've got 3 replays for you in the tier 10 tech tree light tank, the EBR 105. So as always, when I start off these videos I'll run through the equipment and perks that I run on this tank. So you can see I've got optics, camo net and gun rammer on this tank. And on the perks I'll be running the usual, so I've got born leader, rapid reload, sixth sense, steady aim, situational awareness, camouflage expertise, snapshot, muffled shot, and I don't run a full perk setup on this tank, but if I was going to use the last perk I would definitely pick wheel mechanics. So it's the equivalent of trap mechanic, but just obviously only available for wheel tanks. So yeah, the EBR 105. Where do you start? So the 105, or the EBR 105 I should say, is a little bit different to your conventional light tanks. For a start, obviously it's wheeled, which you've already noticed, we've already pointed out. But you have 2 different modes, and you have your normal mode and you've got rapid mode. So in normal mode you'll have increased mobility. You literally be able to spin on a sixpence. It's just ridiculously good at, well, I mean, look, put it this way, you don't even need handbrake turns on this tank. You know how like you handbrake turn to increase your mobility or turn in circle on a normal light tank. You don't need it. In fact, you do need to be careful in some instances of not actually oversteering in this tank, because you can spin this tank out quite easily. That's one thing I've noticed with the EBR 105 is it does oversteer really bad and spin you to a stop if you're just too harsh on the controls. So yeah, it has, like I say, has this rapid mode, which when you activate boosts your top speed from 70 kilometers an hour to 85 kilometers an hour. Also improves your reverse speed from 50 to 62 kilometers an hour. But the downside of rapid mode is you lose traverse. So yeah, you're not able to sort of turn as fast as what you would if you were not in rapid mode. So those are the differences, and you can see sort of on the left hand side next to my health bar, you can see that little icon. That's currently showing us as in rapid mode, and then when you're out of rapid mode it will go down to like 2 upward, there you go, 2 upward chevrons. Well timed that. That's when you are out of rapid mode, and obviously your mobility increases. One other thing to point out as well is in rapid mode you actually, your accuracy becomes awful. Your aim reticle blooms out, much like similar to CS63 when you're in turbo mode. Similar circumstance there when you're in rapid mode. Your aim just, yeah, it just blooms out. It's just awful. So when you want to shoot something on the move, switch into non-rapid mode, and that will increase your accuracy on the move. So what other good things are there about the EBR 105? So it's got a nice high alpha gun. You do 390 per shot, which is pretty nice for a light tank. You've got good camouflage, and you have obviously we've just noted that traverse speed when you're out of rapid mode is quite good. It's got good mobility overall, good accuracy during rotation, again when you're not in rapid mode. And yeah, you got a nice shell velocity on the standard rounds at 1300 meters per second. So the bad points about the EBR 105, well, we've just kind of, I mean, you've kind of seen a little bit as we've sort of been playing along here. It's very difficult to multitask in this tank. You really need to get used to it. This is not a beginner's tank, by the way. If anybody has started this game and has decided in whatever crazy situation that they figured the EBR 105 was going to be the first tank or light tank to grind in this game, just don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. The grind is painful enough, but it takes a lot of skill and a lot of getting used to this tank to be able to make it work. Honestly, you're constantly multitasking in this tank. You're always keeping an eye on, obviously, that where you're going, where you're trying to aim. Doing those two things at once when you're speeding at 85 kilometers an hour, okay, looks easy, but it kind of isn't. And maybe might be a little bit easier for the Cold War players that play this tank every now and then in World War II, possibly. I don't know, but then with Cold War tanks, you don't have this tank spinning on a sixpence and losing control. Basically, the mobility, as good as it is, and the speed in rapid mode, it can also be your downfall, as well as being out of rapid mode. When you're out of rapid mode, again, the tank just spins easily. And yeah, that can equally just absolutely ruin your game, because if you spin out because you're a little bit too harsh on the controls, you basically spin out and you stop in the middle of the map. And if you're in a situation where you've got enemy tanks looking at you, it's game over. And it really is easy to lose your hit points just like that. So yeah, it's the mobility. Yeah, it's like a double-edged sword, basically. It's the best way to put it. So we're coming to an end on replay number 1 now on Kasserine. And as usual, apologies, I've sort of waffled on a lot more than sort of speaking about the gameplay, but I always use sort of, I guess, my worst one out of the 3 to just sort of go over the tank. And while I'm speaking at the time, you can kind of see how what I'm on about, this how this tank operates. And look, you see, as soon as you slow down, it's quite hard to gain momentum and gain traction, which makes, again, playing this tank quite difficult. But you can see we've got our 4th kill there. We've picked up a little bit of assist, and we've done about 3.8k damage. So we've had a nice game here. It's been all right. And yeah, a shout out, I should say, to my good friend Jeff, who's been backing us up in the Object 2083. No, the 268.4. Sorry. So we're bringing into Kasserine there, where we end up top of the board, 5 kills, 3.9k damage, just over 1,000 assists. Only picking up a 2nd class because it's a pretty average game, to be fair, for a tier 10. But again, it was just a nice opportunity to sort of discuss the tank. So on the second replay now, we're on Red Shear. And yeah, I'm going to discuss a little bit more about the bad points of this tank, and then we'll sort of start looking at the gameplay. But as always, the sort of second replay is going to be sort of a little bit better than the first, and we obviously saved the best game till the end. So apart from the mobility being a bit of a nightmare, the other thing, and this thing I think actually bugs me more than the mobility, is the penetration values. They are horrendous, and in actual fact, bar the Tusk and the Vigilante, this actually has the lowest penetration value on its standard out of all light tanks. It may even have the lowest heat rounds as well. So you've got 190mm penetration on your standard APCR rounds, and you've got 240 on your heat rounds. Now, bear in mind that 190 is is viable when you're within 100 meters of your target. That's what you'll get, is 190 millimeters penetration. Past that to 500 meters and 500, within 100 meters and 500 meters, your penetration then decreases to 162, which isn't great. In actual fact, it's horrible. I mean, the 190 is bad enough, but when you get to sort of 162 millimeters of penetration, it's a struggle. And I've noticed sort of heavy tanks, you're going to have a real hard time penning. You can see there, like this Object 283 is just has to angle slightly, and I'm bouncing off the side of him. So yeah, it's just not fun, and I guess my grumble is that this tank has great mobility. I get that, and I get that you need things to obviously balance this tank out, but it has 360-meter view range, which isn't great for a light tank, and it's its camo's good, but yeah, you're relying on the mobility, and then you're sort of relying on the camo. But you're going to be further away than 100 meters. You're always going to be further away than 100 meters to sound spotted. So unless you're shooting at lightly armored targets, or say you're, I don't know, last man standing against 3 or 4 heavy tanks, you're really going to struggle. So maybe increase the heat rounds, perhaps, the ammo capacity, maybe sort of bring down the APCR and load up a few more heat rounds. That might just be a good idea. I wouldn't go loading all out with heat, because that brings its own issues with spaced armor, and obviously shooting the side of tanks more likely going to get absorbed into the track. So you do want to sort of keep your APCR rounds, but maybe increasing the heat rounds might be the way forward to overcoming those issues. But like I say, you've only got 240 heat pen as well, so it's not really going to sort of be you're not really going to be lighting up the world, so to speak, with that 240 heat pen. So yeah, it's the EBR. It's just a frustrating tank overall, I think, and the title suggests, is it the worst light tank at tier 10? Yeah, probably would. I think it is. I can't think really of any other light tank that kind of could beat this in terms of being that bad. I mean, the Manticore gets some stick, but I still think the Manti maybe is slightly better, but only just. But yeah, look, back onto the EBR, it can just be really frustrating, and like I say, very awkward to play. Also helps if you aim at your targets. Sometimes this is sort of a skill issue, operator error, should we say. But yeah, my recommendation would be to, if you're a new light tank player, you've only just got into light tanks, save this to the last. Really, honestly, you'll be saving yourself a lot of pain, by not doing this first. You can have some fun in it, and sort of, I've used this replay to kind of demonstrate that when you're on big open maps like Red Shear, which favours light tanks no end, the EBR can be quite fun. You can flex with it, but on any other sort of on other maps, particularly, and even some big open maps like Nomonhan, where you've got all the sort of the dips and sort of all those bumps and stuff like that. Again, it's just going to make trying to drive this tank even harder. So yeah, there's just lots of factors to take into account when you're using this tank to try and make sure that you're actually operating it in the right way. But we've not had a bad game here on Red Shear as it's coming to a close. We've picked up 4 kills. We've done 4.2k damage and 3k assists. So we've had the best of both worlds in this game, and we've made the EBR work. Like I say, we've been able to flex, we've been able to move around and use the tank to its to its right ability. We don't come top of the board there. The Nemesis MBT player had a really good game, so credit to him. We do pick up the first class, we come second place, and yeah, like I say, it was a nice replay, I think, to show how well the tank can play. But we have saved the best till last, and we are on Erlenberg, which, to be fair, is one of my more favourite maps. In all fairness, Red Shear isn't a bad map. Again, I'm quite favour that map over most others. But yeah, Erlenberg, I've had some pretty decent games on this in the past, and this game ends up being a bit of a cliffhanger. But yeah, we're going to get straight into it. So going to do the usual spot and run. I'm going close to the middle because just basically want to pick up spots on anything that is crossing through the town here and up to the usual spot. Now we're going to show off some fantastic driving there, and again, great example of what happens when you crash into a building. You just stop still, and the power to weight ratio is good on this tank, but when you stop, you have those split couple of seconds where trying to gain momentum again is very, very difficult, and that is where you are most vulnerable in this tank. So yeah, it's something to be aware of. Always be aware of your surroundings, basically. Look where you're going, or try and look where you're going. Yeah, so if you're good at multitasking, then you'll probably make this tank work. But if you're like me, I'm useless at multitasking, which is probably why I'm having a hard time driving it. But we've picked up a little bit of assist already. We get a nice shot into that Carnarvon again. We crash into a building again, sort of being quite vulnerable here. We're trying to snap a shot for the kill there, but the Carnarvon gets taken out by our friendly grill. And we picked up just over 1,000 assists already, which is a good start to the game. We picked up 1 shot of damage. And now we're just sort of just biding our time. We're just sort of waiting here, trying to see if we can spot anything else up. We can see a CS63 that's in the middle. I don't know if that guy is actually stuck on a, stuck on the edge of the river there. I'm not sure, but we've decided we're going to make our way over to the base because I can see a light tank moving in. I can also see this heavy tank in the middle. We're losing quite a few tanks actually, so bit of a painful start for the team, but I want to try and get back to the base because we see the TDs that are on sort of the ridge there. So if I can light up some of these tanks and see this T49 has come in, we get a shot into that guy. We've switched out of rapid mode so that we can actually fully aim in and get the shots, and again sort of spin around quite nicely, try and evade any shots coming in. But then with this T100 just decides that he's going to get a piece of us. And now we're in a bit of a melee with the light tank, trying to free aim the shot. Unfortunately, don't quite aim that properly. This T100 is just doing the same as me, just sort of YOLOing around it. I thought I could get the kill shot there, and again I fumble it. I have a proper fumble moment, and I'm taking shots of damage from this light tank. Surprised this light tank hasn't died yet, and I'm trying to get another shot in. Fortunately, the T100 decides to clip me and ends up dying. He was a one shot and he was very low on hit points. But we are now pretty much half health, which isn't ideal at this start of the game. But we have picked up 2k assists. We've got 1,200 damage. There's quite a few tanks that are moving in now. This is 268 that is now pretty much proxy spotting us. We've seen this Panzerjäger at the back there, which we're going to try and get shots on. I'm just using this Debrek in front of me as sort of a bit of a shield. We do snap another shot into that Panzerjäger, putting him onto a one shot, but he then goes unspotted. We're being targeted, I assume, which would be the Panzerjäger. All the while, the tanks that I've lit up here end up getting absolutely destroyed. We pick up a little bit more assist there. I'm going to pop back out, get a nice snap on that Drogon, but unfortunately Hydra puts the shot into us, putting us down to 302 hit points, which isn't great. We snap another shot into the Panzerjäger that stopped and tried aiming in to get a shot into us. Gives us the opportunity to snap a shot in. Now, again, the accuracy during movement on this tank is pretty decent. Accuracy still, I think, is 0.38, which is a little bit on the derpy side. But again, kind of what you get with light tanks. Accuracy is usually something that gets sacrificed with light tanks because they're good mobility. Make it balanced, which is fair. But yeah, the accuracy during rotation is pretty good. But we put that Hydra down to a one shot now. And now we're just going to wait and see what else we can light up. So the scores are still pretty even. We're 2 tanks ahead. But I'm still sort of mindful of these heavies that are, well, this Object 257 that's sat in the middle here. But artillery's doing a good job of, taking his health points down. So this is good. But we've got a full health T32 here. Now I'm bumbling around a bit because I'm trying to figure out my next move. So, as well as trying not to drive into stuff. Now see this Object 279E that is coming over here, and I think, again, just trying to look at angles, potential shots I could get off on these tanks. And I see the T32 making a move. Again, didn't really give me enough to sort of get a shot off. The 257 still he does take a shot from the grill, which is good. Going to try and see if I can squeeze a shot in. Unfortunately, hitting the upper plate of the T32, I just bounce. T32 is actually taking out our Iron Rain, so brings the score down to 7-6, still making it quite even. And at this point I've decided I think I'm going to potentially try and venture across and see if I can get rear shots onto the T32 and the Object 257. Now I'm a one shot to both of those tanks, so I need to be careful, and this is a problem when you're sort of low on hit points like this, is you need to be patient, need to try not to take too many risks. I'm also wary that there's 2 tank destroyers that could potentially be back here, but looks like the coast is clear. We pick up a tiny bit of assist. Unfortunately our grill goes down to their Iron Rain. Now I'm looking at 257, who's a one shot, but then we get lit up by the T32. The 257 gets taken out by our Object 704, so I don't have to worry about that tank now, which is good. Now the T32 gets lit up, but I'm gonna move out and probably try and lose my spot before I decide to go and get some shots in, because last thing I want to do is just sort of stop in the middle of nowhere and get shut down by the T32. But he's getting hammered away, and we're picking up little bits of assist here. We've done alright. We're over 4k assist and over 3k damage. Again, this is half my problem with this tank, is I'm too busy aiming or looking at the enemy, not looking where I'm going. See the Yag Tiger that's now coming around. Now I'm sort of just going to let the gun aim in, and I just needed to take out that T32, because seeing the Yag Tiger here, there was a potential I could have been put in the crossfire. Our friendly 110 gets taken out by their artillery. Again, sort of brings the scores to 5-4. The Object 704 is next to no health, so that's going to be a struggle. Luckily our Rogel Dawn takes up the Object 279E, which is a lifesaver for me, because that is one tank I really didn't want to come up against, if the numbers sort of fell any more. Line up a shot on the Yag Tiger, unfortunately goes blind. We tried firing a shot blind, but unfortunately it didn't quite work out. Going to go for a shot on the cheeks, but it was just angled enough to deflect that shot. And now we've just had our 704 and Panzerjäger taken out, which now brings us in a 3v3. And yeah, the tables have kind of turned a little bit. Now I wanted to go and try and see if I could spot the Iron Rain, who was last sort of seen in this location, but then I have a change of heart, because I sort of thinking, well, the Yag Tiger was coming over to the right hand side here, so I didn't really think I was going to outspot the Iron Rain, because the Iron Rain obviously has fantastic camo. So I just figured, right, let's just try and see if we can focus this Yag Tiger out. Ideally I would like to sort of find the Iron Rain, because I'd like to know where the Iron Rain is, just so that I don't get sort of, Iron Rain doesn't just appear out of nowhere and end up sort of taking out our hit points. Unfortunately I have a little bit of a mare sort of trying to get the right shells. I want to load the heat shells, because obviously Yag Tiger is got decent armor, and I know I'm probably not going to pen with the standard rounds. Just trying to line up the shot. Unfortunately we hit a shot in the track there, and we do get lit for it, but our artillery luckily takes another chip of health out of that tank, giving us some track assist. Just using that building in between us and weaving backwards and forwards, or side to side should I say, to give RT the slip, which luckily RT doesn't get a shot into us. Our Rogel Dawn does get taken out, so this is now 3v2, and this Yag Tiger is just advancing, just doesn't seem to be slowing down at all, so we need to get rid of the Yag Tiger. Artillery gets a shot in, but unfortunately just tracks him. I'm going to just line up the shot now, just let the gun aim in, go for the lower plate, there we go, finish the Yag Tiger off. Picking up our 5th kill of the game, which now leaves 2 tanks left, which is artillery and the Iron Rain. I have no idea where the Iron Rain is, I had no idea at this rate. I was going to move over to the right. Perhaps I should have done, because maybe the Iron Rain might have been coming across, I don't know. But I've decided to go for artillery. Now, again, thinking about it, perhaps the right hand side would have been the right play first off. Again, had sort of plenty of time. I could double check the Iron Rain wasn't coming. But if he wasn't there, then there's a potential that the Iron Rain could be at the back. But I don't know this information. I've just, gone gung-ho, made the decision. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to try and find the artillery and worry about the Iron Rain later and just, take the gamble that the Iron Rain might not be here. But obviously, I know the last known location of the Iron Rain was sort of down in D5. So, yeah, I haven't really sort of done the guesswork as to where I think the Iron Rain could be. I've just kind of made the decision, let's just go and try and find artillery. Perhaps the Iron Rain would be over here and I could spot him up. Now we've lit artillery and I'm just sort of gonna, I was hoping artillery would sort of get a shot in, but I just think artillery is sort of either being lit up or is sort of still aiming it. But I've decided I'm going to go round. I thought the artillery would still be sort of facing the other way, and at this point I'm like, oh Christ, I'm dead. But luckily he fires, misses the shot. We've still got the HE loaded. We're trying to sort of get a shot into, penetrate the T92 HMC here. Fortunately, we snapped the shot, which just hits his track and gets absorbed into the track. We do get a high roll, it's actually a bit of a low roll for the HE shot, but we do get a nice shot that pens. Unfortunately, we get pushed into the drink by artillery here, and at this point I thought, oh Christ, I've been outplayed by an artillery piece here. It's put me down to 160 just by ramming me. I was sure to think I was going to drown there. And then the Iron Rain does me a favour and actually lets me know his last known position. So the Iron Rain has gone for the cap, thinking that he could probably cap out before I get there. That's not the case because I have the speed. I'm in rapid mode now. I'm going to get over there. Now the question is, can I outspot the Iron Rain? I'm pretty sure I can't, but if I can light him up and sort of get his position, then I might be able to do something with that. And I'm moving closer and closer. I've activated my food to try and boost my view range. You can see I'm getting more and more close to the base. I still haven't lit up the Iron Rain. There we go. I get lit. We both light each other up. I panic snapshot the shot while I'm in rapid mode, which is not the right idea. Now I've got to weave backwards and forwards and try and make sure and hope that the Iron Rain doesn't hit me. Just gonna get one more shot in. Can I snap the shot of the move? I can, picking up the 7th kill of the game, bringing it into what was a little bit of a tense, panicky moment. Pretty sure sort of all looking at the where I was sort of facing the artillery, thinking I was gonna die there, but we win the game anyway. We get 5.7k damage, 4.9k assist, bringing just over 10k combined actually. 7 kills, picking up devastating medal with the ace tanker, the high caliber. And yeah, what was a nice replay in the EBR 105, but yeah, one that was very, very tense at the end. But there we go, guys. That is it for the replay and for the video. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did like the video, please like and subscribe to the channel because it really does help. And leave a comment. If you've got the EBR or you're just about to work on the EBR, let me know and let me know how you find it. And as always, guys, I will catch you next time.